Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, that. Stop this, and you. All right, guys, welcome in. It is, I cannot believe it. It is Monday, March the 8th, which means, well, we're about 6 days away from Selection Sunday, which also means we must have some conference tournaments to talk about on this Monday afternoon. And we are going to talk about four in particular, four games that are of our interest here on this Light Monday card. That'll include App State taking on Georgia State here. Also going to talk a little UNCG, little North Carolina Greensboro against Mercer. St. Mary's is going to try once again at the Zags. Good luck with that. And Pepperdine is going to host or at least take on BYU in what they hope is going to be a fruitful night there. Probably not, but we'll break these games down with, of course, three of the absolute best we have at WagerTalk.com. They will include the man, Tony Mejia, back in action on this Monday. Also, Brian Leonard, look at those directly down the road from one another. We've got him, Brian Leonard, in the house, stepping up here today. And, of course, the man below, it is not Ralph Michaels. It is Steve Merrill who is hanging out with us here on this Monday afternoon. And, of course, take a look, guys, at these Twitter handles. All a good follow, each and every one of them. Tony Mejia, at Mejia Dinero, at B. Leonard Sports, and, of course, at Steve Merrill is where you can find them. And, gentlemen, getting to be crunch time here. We got to get through these pesky things known as conference tournaments for the rest of this week. Although, in order to get to Selection Sunday, and then, of course, it's dance time. But I'll start with you there, Tony Mejia, my friend. Talk to me, man. How did your weekend go? And, of course, it is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. So what do you have up and available?
Well, I've got a 4% play up tonight. And I will have a lot more after this show, just getting a couple of things together. But, 4% plays have been fantastic. I think it's the run is 6 of 8 or something like that. And the 3% and 2% have been a crapshoot. And all these games right now, I love handicapping them and wagering on them because it's do or die for most of these teams. So there really are no excuses, but it does yield some strange results. So, fairly mediocre weekend outside of the 4%, which hopefully clients hit for big wagers.
Yeah, listen, we got a lot of conference semis and finals, of course, coming up here over the next day or so. And Brian Leonard, when you're not busy just sweeping the board in every NHL play known to mankind that you put out there, congratulations, hell of a run once again this weekend. But it is $9 Monday, so what do you got going on today at WagerTalk.com?
Yeah, you mentioned the NHL #1 on the site for the last 6 weeks. 2 NHL plays up for tonight. I also have 3 college basketball on a nice run this week, 9-4 on college hoops. And our baseball, preseason baseball, exhibition baseball for baseball clients is up. But yeah, a full slate of action here. And as was mentioned, the $9 Monday, great day to take advantage of all of us, including Tony, who's done and was just making another name for himself. I've known Steve for years, and he continues to amaze me. Congratulations, Steve. You're on a nice little run.
All right, let's not blow any more smoke up Merrill's ass than he already needs because I got to hear it all weekend. But, Steve Merrill back in the house. Steve, always a pleasure, my friend. You and I were actually rooting on this Greensboro team over the weekend. But how did your weekend end up going? And, of course, what do you got today at $9 Monday at Wager Talk?
Yeah, Brian, Joe doesn't like me because I think my second half recommendations when we're on live Saturday afternoons on Sirius XM channel 204 are like 0-7 now, but luckily nobody plays those anyway, right? But yeah, 4-2 this weekend on best bets on WagerTalk.com. It's been going great to say the least. Now 57-28 on the season in college hoops, and more importantly, the way I look at it, it's 105% return on investment in 3 months. So college basketball has doubled your bankroll in 3 months. And now it's what I think is the best time of year in all of college basketball with March Madness. So definitely excited for the month of March.
Oh, it's going to be a hell of a week here, guys. It's going to be a hell of the rest of the month. We're excited. We're looking forward to it. And, of course, you heard it, $9 Monday. Just head over to WagerTalk.com. Best bets, $9 right now from all three of these gentlemen, Tony Mejia and Brian Leonard and Steve Merrill. And it's going to be one hell of a profitable Monday. Just take advantage of the $9 best bets happening at WagerTalk.com. All right, guys, we're going to get to App State here, Georgia State, in just a second. We'll run through quickly what was a very exciting day in college basketball last night. Of course, the whole weekend was really cool. We did have some top performances, of course, for some people that just went above and beyond, if you will, for their teams and for their schools yesterday. Some of those included Baylor. We watched take on Texas Tech there. How about that senior? Messiah Teague took down Texas Tech. Great job by him. Seth Lundy averaging what? 9 points a game, I think it was there, Tony Mejia, and he drops 31 yesterday in that game against Maryland, and Jalen Ray at Hofstra also taking on Delaware. They have a very interesting matchup here today against Elon also, and some of those covers from yesterday too. The big ones: Winthrop and Campbell, ouch, 15.5. Michigan State taking down Michigan. Penn State taking down Maryland there. And, of course, some of the totals also yesterday of note. We had a few interesting ones with the overs. College of Charleston and Drexel way over that 130.5 mark by 24.5. And then Tennessee, Florida didn't live up to expectations in any stretch of the imagination, going under 17.5 points. So it was a great weekend. Going to be a very profitable Monday, guys. And we're going to start with App State taking on Georgia State in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament Finals here tonight. It's really funny because they dropped 6 of their last 7 regular season games, but yet here we are, the Mountaineers. They've got themselves a bit of a Cinderella story here. Tony Mejia, I'm coming to you. It opened up at 5.5. 139.5 is what we are seeing. It's now shot all the way up to 7 for Georgia State, and I'm seeing 136. The schedule has been brutal for App State, but how do you see it going down tonight in this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, the 4th game in 4 nights for App State, and they won one of the strangest games I've ever seen last night, and I was on the Coastal Carolina side. They won a game where they shot less than 30% from the field. They forced 22 turnovers. Coastal Carolina had an opportunity to win multiple times. They actually forced overtime by hitting 3 free throws with less than 10 seconds left. You never see that. Just a really strange defense game. And Cliff Ellis's Chanticleers blew it. So Appalachian State, really well coached by Dustin Kearns. I think we'll see him at a major conference near you very soon. But I don't know if he could win 4 games in 4 nights against a really talented Georgia State team that posts 5 double-digit scorers. Corey Allen, the transfer from Detroit, really a great spark plug for them. They've got 2 big men. So, a tall task for Appalachian State to win a 4th game in 4 nights.
Brian, they've had some success during the season against Georgia State, one of the hottest teams in the Sun Belt here. But, man, this is a tall order. But there is no tomorrow, really. So App State is going to lay it out on the ground tonight. It is 7. How are you approaching it?
Yeah, they won 2 out of 3 during the regular season. And Tony pointed out back-to-back overtime wins, 4th game in 4 days. I think that's why the line's moved here, because of the spot for Appalachian State. It's really terrible having to play their 4th game in a row after overtime games, the last 2. And plus, if you look at their minutes, they've only got 5 guys that play 50% of the minutes. So their team really relying on the starters. And now they got to play against the Georgia State team, who I have is pretty substantially better. I would have liked Georgia State if we would have played it a little bit earlier, obviously. It's 7, I think, is my peak. But I can only look at Georgia State here. Anything more than 7, though, it's a pass for me.
Yeah, I mean, how much, Steve, when you look at this game, that schedule for App State, it's unreal, but really, a bunch of 18 and 19-year-old kids with no tomorrow. They got nothing to lose. Leave it all out on the court tonight. What do you think you're going to see?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. First of all, obviously the scheduling spot is not good for Appalachian State. Not only playing this many games in a row off back-to-back upsets, but then back-to-back overtimes. Brian Tony talked about. It's like playing an extra game almost physically and emotionally during that span. Yet, I'm not going to jump on Georgia State automatically because the matchup still favors App State. It is one of the reasons they went 2-1 straight up against Georgia State in the regular season. Appalachian State plays at one of the slowest tempos, half-court styles in the nation. Georgia State plays at one of the faster paces. So these are the kind of matchups I like to look for in general in college basketball, especially in the postseason. It's these slow-down half-court teams, especially when both teams have played some back-to-back games tonight, 3-3 now for Georgia State. That favors slow-down half-court teams. But then again, just the tremendous scheduling disadvantage for App State overall gets me a little worried. So I think maybe the total. By the way, the line has gone from 5.5 to 7, like Brian said. My power ratings make the game 7. So at 7 or more, I'd probably start leaning towards App State here. But I think the total might be the safest play. That opened 139. It's now down to 136. But I agree with that move to the under. Surprisingly, 2 of the 3 regular season games had over 150 points, even though App State won 2 of those 3. They lost 1 and won 1. They won the lower scoring game in the mid 130 range. This has to be a slow down style. Both teams are fatigued. I think that hurts the shooting, especially from 3-point range. Under 136, might be the safer play in this game.
All right. That's going to be 7 p.m. in Pensacola tonight there for the finals of the Sun Belt Championship. We're going to move on and take a look at the SoCo here, and Mercer taking on UNC-Greensboro in this final. It's a number 1 versus a number 10. Kind of crazy. They are opened up at -4 for Greensboro. Total at 140, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm seeing some 5s out there along with some 136.5. So the total has come down. And Brian, I'm going to come to you here. This could be the Bears' first conference title since 2014. The Atlantic Sun Conference, in fact, is what it was known as. I don't know. It just seems like an uphill battle here for Mercer. What do you think we're going to see here?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. They played twice earlier this season. They lost both those games 77-74 and 81-68. It's 4th game in 4 days once again with Mercer here. What I have a real concern for Mercer is they never get to the free throw line. In fact, the last 2 games they played against VMI, 8.8 free throw rate. Against Walford, 5.1 free throw rate. Those were the 2 worst on the season for a team who never got to the line anyway. So if you can't get to the line, that's a lack of effort. That's a situation where you've got to shoot from the outside, which means you have tired legs. And now they're playing the 4th game in a row here, 4 days. Greenboro matched up really well with them. I like Greenboro here. This is one of the games that I bet myself, and I think that's where we got the value in, is the favorite in this one.
All right. Listen, they had their own tough stretch as well back in January there. Steve Mercer did. They managed to make it through that, and here they are finding themselves in the title game. But how much of a chance do you give them in this?
Yeah, it's funny, Joe. We were joking about halftime plays not doing well in that Sirius XM show that we do on Saturday afternoons. And this, of course, is a team we did talk about Saturday. Greensboro and Citadel, they'd beaten Citadel by double digits in both games this year. They were tight with them the whole game. They did pull away and cover some of the injustice. But Greensboro did not play well Saturday out of the gate against a Citadel team that had played Friday night and pulled an upset win. Greensboro did look better in the second half. They, by the way, only had a 1-point lead yesterday in their eventual double-digit win, but they turned things on in the second half yesterday on Saturday in the semifinal game against East Tennessee State, won by 12 as a 4-point favorite. So I think that was the buy sign. This is their 3rd game in 3 nights, yes, but it's the 4th game in 4 nights for Mercer, the inferior team. And as Brian mentioned, Mercer lost both regular season meetings. And guess what? They were 7 for 14, 50% from 3-point range, and 13 in one of those. And the other one, they were 10 for 24, 42%. And still lost at home by 3. Can't shoot much better than that from 3-point range. Now it's their 4th game in 4 days against the better team who gets in with the win, doesn't make the tournament otherwise. Looks like a very focused spot for Greensboro, and it's a pretty cheap number at -5. I think the line should probably be higher.
Yeah, Tony, it's funny. Steve brings up a good point. They're shooting just about 39% in the tourney, so obviously the sightlines in Asheville pretty good. They're going to need to have another big night tonight from behind the arc if they're going to pull this off. What do you think?
Well, I took my shot against UNC Asheville with ETSU, so I'm done playing against them. Isaiah Miller, it looks like John Morant out there in this conference, and he's not quite that good, but he is pretty athletic, and he's just dominating players. I mean, he was the difference against the Bucks, and then he should be the difference in this game tonight. Mercer's point guard is Neftali Alvarez, who's a Puerto Rican kid from Miami that went to Fairfield, was one of the top rookies in the MAC, and then transferred down to Macon, and has been a real standout for Mercer. But he's been totally dominated by Isaiah Miller in their two matchups. Fouled out in 13 minutes in one of them, and then picked up 4 fouls and 5 turnovers in another. And if he can't get it going, Mercer has no chance in this one. I like the fact that Wes Miller is a heck of a coach and also has a ball handler in Keyshawn Langley to take some pressure off of Isaiah Miller. They've got the 7-footer from Central Arkansas coming off the bench, Koval, who's a matchup problem. They've got another big man, Muhammad Abdul-Salam, who gets every rebound. So this is a team that not only keep an eye on tonight and hopefully they cover, because that's the direction I'm going in, but one of those teams is if you've got a high major conference, maybe a 3 seed, you don't want to see in the 3-14 game.
Asheville, North Carolina, 7 p.m. tip-off for that title matchup here tonight in the Southern Conference. We're going to head to the West, way west. And we're going to take a look at a couple of games here that are going to get underway. One of them involves Pepperdine, and the other, BYU. And this opened up at 9 here, guys. And I'm seeing actually it coming the other way. I see some 8s, 8.5s on the market, total at 148.5. It has not moved all that much. And Steve Merrill, I'm going to come to you here. BYU, people keep whispering, oh, don't sleep on BYU. Well, against Pepperdine, but I don't see what they're going to do after that. So I don't know. Do you like them in this matchup against Pepperdine? Because the market seems to be moving away a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, with these altitude teams, we always have to be careful, once they start playing other locations, because sometimes their odds or their records are a little inflated because they have that thin air and altitude edge at home. But this year, BYU was 19-5 straight up, but they were a very solid 8-3 on the road, including 8-2 against the spread in those games. Pepperdine, a mediocre 11 season, 5-6 on the road, but a solid 8-2. So, you could see a situation maybe here where Pepperdine loses the game, but they keep it within the 9. Early sharp money was on BYU. I saw it open at 7.5, quickly go to 9 this morning. I would agree with that move, though. I do think BYU is the better team, and if they play to their level, they should win this game by double digits. This is the BYU team that plays at a moderate pace, pretty normal, but they're very good efficiency. I rank them top 30, both offense and defensive efficiency. I like to play these balanced types of teams in the postseason. And once BYU should, I think they should, since this is conference tournament time, they should win this game by double digits.
What do you think? Tony Mejia? It's in Vegas, so you got a bunch of 30-year-olds at BYU heading into Vegas right now. So you're a little bit worried maybe focus isn't there. How are you going to approach this game?
Can they be tempted? I don't think so.
I was going to say they don't gamble.
There's temptation, baby. Sin City.
Come on. No, I can be tempted, but will they? I don't know about that. These teams split during the regular season. Colby Ross, the best guard on the floor, so it's going to be up to him to control pace. BYU has a clear advantage in terms of size, lots of quality size that Pepperdine is going to have to overcome. And my top bet is on this, or my free play for this broadcast. So I will hold on my prediction there. But in terms of matchups, this is a game that BYU needs, and then they need a good showing against Gonzaga, and maybe that net rating that they have will be enough to get a second at-large team from the West Coast.
All right. Well, we know eventually who they're going to have to go through, at least now. We'll get to that game in just a minute here. But, Brian, the side seems to be coming down a little bit towards Pepperdine. Total's kind of sitting there, 146.5. How are you going to approach it?
You mentioned BYU in Las Vegas. They used to be in the Mountain West Conference, and I was a season ticket holder. And the craziest and most obnoxious fans of anybody in the conference was BYU. So don't let the Mormons fool you. They know how to go out and have a good time and try to get under your skin. But I think this is a real nice matchup for Pepperdine. They played twice this year. The team split. And the reason why they split is because BYU is a team that shoots a lot of threes. And Pepperdine defends threes better than just about anybody in the country. I believe they're third in the nation defending the three. The two games that BYU played against Pepperdine from 3-point range, they shot 6 of 23 and 5 of 20. So this game plays right into Pepperdine's strength. So Pepperdine, I think, is a live dog in this game. BYU's a team, Steve mentioned it, they're clearly the better team. But it reminds me of a heavyweight fight in boxing. I mean, you've got one team that defends what you like to do the best, and that's Pepperdine. So I'll gladly take the points here with Pepperdine. I understand why the line's going back that way.
All right, good stuff. 148.5, by the way, the total holding strong there. That is going to be the game that comes after the Zags, who are going to be taking on St. Mary's. So that could be either very late, very early, depending on what coast you're on there, anywhere between 11:30 to midnight tonight. East Coast time is when that could go off. But we got to get the winner of the Zags, St. Mary's, first. And this opened up at what? Two touchdowns and a field goal. What are we at? 17.5. It's 18.5 right now. We've got a total of right around 141.5. It opened up at that 142 mark. And let's be realistic here. Tony Mejia, I'm coming back to you. It's not a matter of if, it's just by how many. So when you look at this game, how are you going to approach it? Is it going to be side? Is it going to be total?
It might be both, but you know what? This is what I want to see from Gonzaga. These are teams that have met 11 times since 2004 for all the marbles. So this is just a semifinal. But this is your natural rival in this conference. Yes, BYU's better this year, but it should still get your blood boiling to face St. Mary's. Obviously, Mark Few knows what he's doing against Randy Bennett. They've gone at each other for nearly 2 decades. And I want to see Gonzaga as the number 1 undefeated team in the nation say, okay, it's postseason time. Let's turn it on, because they have had some letdowns down the stretch, which is fine. It's out of boredom. But now you have a team you can go through. Their best player, Tommy Kuzi, is a former walk-on. They haven't scored over 70 points since mid-December. Gonzaga has never failed to score 70 points this season. They're the highest scoring team in the country. So that's why I want to potentially take a shot at the total. My predicted score for this is 84-62, which would clear it barely. But I just don't see what St. Mary's is going to get out of slowing tempo if they're down 15-20 in the final 10 minutes of the game. You figure that they would at least go out in style instead of working shot clock for a bad shot 28 seconds in. So I'm leaning towards Gonzaga. I expect a 20-point win, and I'm leaning towards the over, but would need St. Mary's to get there with pace.
So, Brian, I'm regular season, 14 points at St. Mary's, at Gonzaga, 22. Are we going to get somewhere in the middle of that? What do you think we're going to see here tonight?
Well, I'm not going to bet Gonzaga, a team who is undefeated on the season, and if they happen to lose this game, they'll still be a number 1 in the region. So they're playing this game where the game means obviously much more to St. Mary's. I don't think St. Mary's, even if they were to win this, they could probably beat BYU, who I expect to win the other game. But one thing Gonzaga doesn't do well is offensive rebounding. Most of the time it's because they make all their offensive shots. Last time out against Loyola Marymount, they had an 8.3 offensive rebounding percent, but the effective field goal percent was 67.7. So not a lot of rebounds out there when you're making your own shots. But that's been a problem. If you go back and look at the last 10 games or so, their numbers have been really down. They're not crashing the boards offensively. And when you take a look at the 2 times they played St. Mary's, those numbers are pretty low. So St. Mary's was able to get on the boards against Gonzaga and keep them to 1 shot. That's a concern if you're laying this big number here. Lean with St. Mary's, but obviously Gonzaga is a much superior team. But with the situation, you know what you're going to get out of St. Mary's. You're going to get everything they have. Not sure Gonzaga is going to with that type of pace and that type of energy in this game, because they know it's pretty for the NCAA tournament coming up.
Yeah, it's, Steve, it comes down to, do you think St. Mary's can control enough of this pace, enough of this tempo in this game to keep it close, or do you think the Zags run away with it?
Tony brings up a really good point about the pace in this game, because on the surface, this fits that criteria I talked about earlier, where you're getting a good slow-down half-court team in St. Mary's against a up-tempo team. Gonzaga plays as fast as anybody in the country. They're by far the most efficient offensive team in recent memory, to be honest. And I took a shot, by the way. I've had a great college season, as we've talked about. One of my losses, though, was Virginia earlier this year. I took a shot with them against Gonzaga back in December, and I remember watching that game. Virginia got down fast. I think Gonzaga, I think they had 5 turnovers on their first 6 possessions. It was almost what they averaged per game going in, and they just could never catch up because Virginia, like St. Mary's, plays extremely slow half court, and it's like an option offense in football. When they get behind by 2 touchdowns, they're in big trouble because they can't just keep running, and they got to do what they're not comfortable doing. So with that said, instead of playing the full game line of -18 or +18 with St. Mary's, let's look at the first half line. It's actually 10.5. So you're getting more points with St. Mary's in the first half at +10.5 than you'd be getting full game at +18. And as Tony said, if they get down, which they probably will, because Gonzaga is going to win this game, I'd rather have St. Mary's +10.5 in the first half if you're taking a shot with them, because if they have to play catch up in the second half, that's not their style. And that's not where they're at their best. So let's see them come out slow. And as Brian said, maybe they'll be a little flat too. Also, that they have bigger games on deck. St. Mary's first half +10.5 is probably the safest way to play it if you're going to play it.
All right, good stuff. Like that approach there, guys. And just a quick reminder before we get to our best bets, of course, it is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. That means these gentlemen have their best bets up and available, $9 right now. If you head over to WagerTalk.com, and you can just visit our good friend Tony Mejia, for instance. Go to his page. You've also got it at Brian Leonard's page. Head over to Brian Leonard's page. And, of course, Steve Merrill, locked and loaded, ready to go tonight for $9, guys. You got to love it. Definitely give these guys a shot. Let's make it a profitable Monday evening. And we're going to start with our friends from the Gold Sheet and check out exactly what it is they got going tonight. And they like Georgia State here, Tony Mejia. App State versus Georgia State. They are siding with Georgia State, the better team. We talked about this game a little bit earlier. It appears that our friends at the Gold Sheet, just too much, scheduling too much here for them as well. So they're going to back Georgia State in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. It's not me on the call, but I echo the sentiment. Yeah, I just think Georgia State with fresher legs and a deeper roster, just too much. So Semi is the guy to watch there. Big guy who can finish down the stretch. I think he'll be able to do what Coastal Carolina wasn't able to in the paint and finishing down the stretch.
All right, guys, let's dive into best bets here. And Brian Leonard, going to come to you, my friend. Talk to me here. What game did you have circled for us in a best bet?
Yeah, I'm going to take Ryder plus the points here against Canisius. I like Ryder a lot more than the lines makers do in the betting public, I guess. I like to take a look at shot selection in these games. And if you take a look at what Ryder's done all season, they take good shots. They just haven't been able to make them. I've got this team over the last 3 games. They beat St. Peter's 78-65. And then they lose in overtime to Monmouth, and they lose by 3 to Monmouth. But if you take a look at the shot selections in those games, they probably should have won all 3 and not just the one. Canisius is a team, got off to a slow start because of the virus. But this is a team, I believe they've only played 12 games all season long. And if you go back and look at some of the games that they've played, they were pretty fortunate to get those victories. I'm very surprised at what the line is right now. I had this game, probably 3 points differential, which is something you just don't see this time of year. So I'm gladly taking with Ryder. I think everybody's looking at this game and they see the records, and they see a winning record for Canisius and Ryder with a really poor season. But that wouldn't surprise me at all if Ryder wins this game outright.
All right, Ryder. I believe that's Boardwalk Hall of Atlantic City, 7 p.m. tonight on that game, guys. Canisius taking on Ryder. All right, Tony Mejia, coming back to you, my friend. Where are you going here? You mentioned a little bit earlier in the show about it. Break it down for us.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points with Pepperdine. Looks like 8.5 now. 9 is dead. So, if you hopped in on the line value, good on you. I'm really leery of, Alex Barcelo, because he is flammable. If he hits that first shot, it's trouble. He's had, I think, a 6-for-6 game or even more than that this season. Brendan Averett, the Oklahoma State transfer, is the other guard there. Both shoot free throws extremely well. So to dodge any bullets, I think Pepperdine's going to have to be in this game and have a chance to win for the duration, which means they'll have to withstand those BYU runs. But the total here is also interesting because I don't see it being that high scoring, getting into the 150s. Pepperdine, so long as they can control the boards and limit second chances, I think we can hang around in this. If you're the Waves, at a 74-70 clip, that type of game. So give me the points with the Pepperdine Waves.
All right, that'll be the last game, guys, in Vegas here tonight, 11:30, right around midnight. In fact, it may even happen tomorrow. Keep an eye on that game. And Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L. Stevie, where you going here, man? What game you got circled for us?
Yeah, we touched on this game earlier, but I want to bring it up again. I like UNC-Greensboro. Line opened 3.5, 4 early this morning. It quickly went up to 5. The sharp money came in on Greensboro. I agree with that move, and I still think there's value even at -5. There's that old adage, it's so hard to beat a team 3 times, and it's not true. More times than not, that team goes 3-0, and it's because they're normally the better team, and that's the case with Greensboro here. And I like the setup as well. Yes, both these teams are playing back-to-back-to-back games, but it's the 4th game in 4 days for Mercer. It's just the 3rd in 3 days for Greensboro. That's a big difference, especially when you're the better team. As I pointed out earlier in the show, not only did Greensboro beat them twice this season, but Mercer shot higher from 3-point percentage in both of those games and still lost in double digits in one of those games. The other loss was by 3, but that was on their home court. I like Greensboro. Everything up well here. It's the better team. They got to win to get in the tournament as well, so there'll be no flat spot here looking ahead. Biggest game of the season for the better. I'll lay the short number with UNC-Greensboro -5 in the conference final because it's 7 Eastern tonight on Monday.
Yep, that's correct. Cherokee Center, Asheville, North Carolina for that one. 9:30 p.m. tonight, you're going to find Drexel Northeastern. I'll be playing Drexel here. There's something to be said for continuity with a team. And when you've got 4 out of 5 starters have been able to start every game this season for a squad, I think that's going to come in big here tonight. So I'm going to take Drexel. Has been a covering machine all year. Lay the point, taking on Northeastern. That is 9:30 p.m. tonight. Let's recap it, guys. Take a look at one more time. Best bets. Mejia going Pepperdine. Give him the 8.5. Steve Merrill, Greensboro. UNC Greensboro, lay the 5. Brian Lederer, he likes Ryder. Take the 6 points in that matchup. I'm going to, I'll lay the 1 there. Give me Drexel. And, of course, our friends at the Gold Sheet, they like Georgia State over App State. Lay the 7.5. And what you guys should do right now is head over to WagerTalk.com and take advantage of $9 Monday, because Tony Mejia, because Brian Leonard, and because Steve Merrill all have their plays locked and loaded here. $9. Go get them right now. There's plenty of opportunities to make it a profitable Monday night here, but it starts, of course, with taking the $9 and investing in these 3 gentlemen. And then, of course, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow as I believe the ACC tournament begins. We got a whole lot of action all week, but come back and join us. In the meantime, best of luck with your plays here tonight, guys. We'll be back again tomorrow for the college basketball tip-off show. So good luck. Thanks so much, Tony, Brian, Steve. Good luck, guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Looking to get the edge when betting on the ponies? Get access to all of SIG's reports now through the Belmont Stakes for only $169. You will get approximately 5 sheets per week for the next 15 weeks at 75 $9 reports. That comes out to a $675 value if purchased daily, saving you $506, and you'll have total access to SIG's horse racing selections through Derby prep season, the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes.